So you want to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you've been watching YouTube for a while and you decided you want to jump into the game with the new year. Well, there's a lot of channels out there that might give tips on how to start a YouTube channel, stretched out into about 50 different videos. But I figured I would try and give you all of the important information you're going to want to know before starting a channel. First things first, there are a lot of different types of YouTube channels, pretty much something for every type of person. You know, maybe you're a very extroverted person and you think you have an interesting enough life that everyone will want to watch vlogs about it. Maybe you have a great sense of humor and you want to start some kind of commentary channel where you react to things and make jokes about things and comment on things. Or maybe you're just very informed and know a lot about a certain topic that most people don't know. Then you can start some kind of niche educational channel or a channel dedicated to a fan base of some kind. Or maybe you don't want anything to do with showing your face or voice on camera, and you just want to put together edits or compilation type videos. Well, there are pros and cons to all different types of channels. But the main things you should be asking yourself when starting the channel is, 1. Is this something that I'm going to enjoy and not get burnt out on in the long run? And 2. Is this a topic that I can come up with enough ideas to make consistent content? Now, like I said, there's a lot of different types of channels that you can make. And really what I would say it comes down to is, whatever you enjoy doing, just make a channel about it. You know, if you enjoy playing video games, maybe start a video game channel of some kind. If you enjoy reading Reddit, make a channel of you doing Reddit content. Maybe if you just enjoy browsing Wikipedia and researching random topics. There's plenty of channels that basically pull things from all sides of the internet and basically just bring it into video form. So don't be afraid to think outside the box. You don't have to be a copy of somebody else. It's always better to come up with something new. Another good way of coming up with a channel idea is let's say you tried searching for something on YouTube and you don't really find any good results. Well, that means there's a hole in the market just for you. So let's sort of cover what kind of things you'll be going through for each of these different types of channels. Now, like I mentioned, the vlogging channels are a pretty big thing on YouTube. And maybe you think, well, like, I want to do a vlog channel, but I'm not really that great on camera. Just know that the majority of YouTubers, even the big ones on top right now, they started out completely awkward on camera too. Just as an example, there's a YouTuber known as the Stradman, who's been doing like car vlogs for a long time. And just take a look at what his videos looked like about 4 years ago.
We have a 2005 Lotus Elise in laser blue. I bought this car 4 months ago in San Francisco, California.
And now take a look at what his videos look like today.
Don't get me wrong, like the Bugattis are cool, the Lamborghini Reventon is cool, and that Zonda 760 is amazing, but there's nothing quite like the squad, the Koenigsegg squad.
So obviously if you put in the work and you really try and improve yourself, then yeah, you really can become the person you're trying to be. I mean, it might seem simple to just get a video camera and, you know, record content, but it actually takes quite a lot of practice to be good on camera and just talk directly into a lens rather than talking to a person. It's a pretty weird thing that you'll have to get used to. But when it comes to making vlog type content, it can be pretty hard to really break through because there are so many people making videos just about their daily life with not really anything exciting happening. So you're gonna have to come up with some kind of way to really set yourself apart. I mean, I know we don't all have the budget of Casey Neistat and are able to just put together this grand video every time. But with how many people you're competing with, you're gonna have to find some kind of way of standing out. Typically vlog channels don't require a whole lot of editing skills. They're more on the side of creating original content rather than editing other content. Which is kind of the polar opposite type of channel. The people who make like meme compilations, or like these text-to-speech channels, or I'm sure a bunch of you have seen like stream highlight channels like the best of Asmongold or the best of Twitch. Now these types of channels, I'll be completely honest, are just 100% cash grabs. Like you never show your face, you never talk over the videos, you're literally just looking for content around the internet that's not going to get you copyright striked, and you're compiling it into more accessible video. I mean, some people will say it's a bit sleazy. These types of channels might require a little bit more video editing, but one nice thing about those types of channels is that you can do it pretty much any time of day. Like you don't even have to get dressed up or comb your hair to be on camera. Now right in between these full original content type channels and these full stolen content type channels, you've got something right in the middle, which is where the majority of YouTubers fall. This is where you have the commentary channels, where it's channels like this one, where it's just a person talking to the camera. You know, maybe they're making fun of some cheesy movie or some other YouTuber or some video game, or maybe they just like to stir up drama. Now, regardless of what type of channel you make, if you have a channel where you are talking to the camera and you're making jokes or you're making commentary, you're giving input on whatever it is you're talking about, the number one most important thing that you will absolutely need to push that channel off the ground is to have a good personality. I know it sounds kind of obvious, Because people are only going to have two reasons to ever watch your videos. Are they watching their content for you, or are they watching you for your content? For example, I had a channel where I just went onto Reddit and read stories that were posted all the time, and I actually made a few million views off of those videos. But the problem was, they were watching me for the stories. They didn't really care about me or my input, and whenever I would try and change up my content and try other things, most people did not follow. And this is especially true if you run one of these like compilation or text-to-speech type channels. Like, they are watching the content solely for the content. If you came out and did like a face reveal, or tried talking to the camera, or changing to some other type of content, you have no power to do that. You will lose every single viewer if you try doing that. You might have a lot of people being recommended your videos for a little while, but say goodbye to your entire audience if you ever try transitioning from a channel like that. That's why I say they are ultimately just cash grabs. You really cannot do anything else with a channel like that. Whereas there's other channels, you know, like PewDiePie or iDubbbz, where they are mostly commentary based, and it really doesn't matter what type of content they make, because people watch their content for the person. You know, I found iDubbbz through his Kickstarter crap a long time ago, but then of course he's transitioned to so many different types of content, but the crowd actually keeps following him because they like him as a person. So if you're gonna go for any type of content that revolves you being in the videos, you have to add a level of charisma to the video to actually get people to continue watching. Now, I know I spent a lot of time just talking about how to get the channel started and deciding what you want to do, but that's really the most important part. Now, no matter what type of channel you decide to go with, there's really no guarantee that the channel is going to go anywhere. Because you gotta remember, there's something like 70 million channels on YouTube making content. Now, that does include channels worldwide in all different languages, but you also have to remember there's over 1 billion people watching YouTube. So there is always an available audience. So now that you've decided on your channel type, you know, you come up with a good name, maybe get a good profile picture and banner art. Now it just comes down to go make some videos. And it's a really good idea to look at the other videos in the same categories, the ones you're trying to make. Because you don't want to be that guy that just like sets up their phone camera in their kitchen with a bunch of background noise, just talking to the camera. I mean, camera quality isn't everything. Just because you have fancy gear doesn't mean your channel's gonna take off. But if you have like super crappy gear, it's gonna be hard to get anyone to continue watching the video. But as you're making your videos, you know, try and keep it interesting. This mostly comes down to when you're doing the editing. Make sure you cut out any like coughs or sneezes. You don't want to have like a bunch of dead space, a bunch of long pauses in the video. And also try not to talk too slow. I know we have like up to ×2 speed on YouTube, but sometimes that isn't even fast enough. So once you start making content and uploading it to the channel, you'll probably notice that for a little while, you'll pretty much just be stuck at very few views, like single-digit views for at least your first few videos. And this is not really uncommon for a lot of channels. Like, even on my more successful channels I've ever had, it still mostly started out with, you know, just a few views here and there. But for your videos to actually start getting recommended to people, there are two main metrics that go into deciding how much YouTube wants to push your videos. There's click-through rate and average view duration. Now, the click-through rate refers to how many times it will recommend your video to people and how often they actually decide to click on it. So like, let's say my video gets recommended to 1,000 people and 100 people click on it from the recommended bar or the front page or something, then that would be a 10% click-through rate. Well, then I have to make sure that people are actually continuing to watch the video and get a decent average view duration. So really what it comes down to is you're going to want to learn Photoshop or use some sort of online site like canva.com. Because you're going to want really nice thumbnails. You should always be using the custom thumbnail feature. And typically with the custom thumbnails, it's not bad having a little bit of text on the thumbnail. It's usually not great to have too much, especially small text. You basically want just enough to get the point across. Explain what the video is about, and especially get people's curiosity raised, because you want people to click on the video. So like, maybe you'll have 2 different points that you want to make in the video. Like my last video, for example, where one thing I wanted to address was like the types of ways YouTubers make money. But I also want to explain how much money YouTubers make. So that's why I put like a different thing in the thumbnail and in the title. So that way I could be like, how much money do YouTubers make in the thumbnail? But then in the title, how do YouTubers make their money? Or it was originally, how much I made in 2019. And you can always experiment with changing the title and the thumbnail over time if you want to try and get the numbers up. So if you can get a really good click-through rate, that will really help boost your channel quite a bit. But the other thing, the average view duration, really comes down to how quality your content is. So let's say you spend like 90% of your time making the video and editing it and putting it all together, and then you only spend 10% of your time doing a title and thumbnail. Well, in the end, the title and thumbnail makes up at least 50% of your statistics overall, because you need that to get people to click on it. So if you have really good titles and thumbnails, you get really good click-through rate, and then you have people watching for a long time getting the average view duration up, then YouTube might start to push your content a little bit more. And you're probably thinking something like, well, my videos don't get recommended to anybody, so how am I supposed to get any clicks on it or any watch time? Well, one thing that is kind of an option, at least at the very beginning, especially if you have other YouTube accounts, it doesn't hurt if you want to log into your other accounts, click on the video, watch the whole thing, give it a like, give it a comment, and then just hop over to another account. You know, click on the video, give it a like, watch the whole thing. You know, basically just trying to boost your metrics a little bit. It's not really a good idea to like click the video and then click off of the video and then click on and off and off. You might give the video a bunch of views, but it's gonna kill your average view duration, so it's not really doing it any favors. But yeah, if you ever have like multiple YouTube channels, it's usually a good thing to like have each one subscribe to the other. And then anytime you see one of your own videos pop up and recommended, then just always click on it and watch the whole thing. Because any little thing you can do to raise your metrics is a good thing. It's all just about trying to get that tiny little boost to start getting recommended to more and more people. But alright, let's say your channel's starting to take off, you're growing more and more, you're starting to gain subscribers, you're getting a lot of views, and now you finally reach the point of qualifying for monetization. Now for those who don't know, the monetization is where you can start putting ads on your videos and making money off of the channel. In order to qualify, you need to have 1,000 subscribers and at least 4,000 hours of watch time over the past year. Which really sounds like a huge task when you're a small YouTuber. But at the same time, if you were monetized as that small YouTuber who can't reach the threshold, you'd be making like a few cents a day, so it's usually not that big of a deal. But once you have your channel monetized, then you run into a whole new wave of problems. Because now you finally get to experience demonetization. Now, I'm sure you've heard all about demonetization all over YouTube. It's where YouTube has a certain AI that will scan every video as it goes up and decide if it's advertiser friendly or not. And if you've seen a handful of my other videos, you'll know that the AI is kinda ridiculous sometimes. So it can take a lot of experience of uploading lots of videos to really understand the bot and know what you can and cannot say and do when making your videos. Especially going into the new year, I wouldn't really recommend anyone getting into creating kids channels. With the whole COPPA thing, it seems like you're gonna have a really hard time making any money. But once you reach the point where you're monetized and you just keep growing, really the main goal is to just keep trying to improve it. Try not to ever get too comfortable making the same content repeatedly. You should always be looking for ways to improve the quality in one way or another. Whether that is practicing talking to the camera better, or getting better at editing your videos, stuff like that. But anyways, hopefully you guys learned something and maybe got a little bit inspired to start a YouTube channel. It really can be a fun but challenging job overall because you are self-employed. You have to motivate yourself to, get to work every single day. You've got to come up with new ideas over and over again. You've got to be good at video editing, marketing, public speaking. You basically have to learn to do every single part of a business all by yourself. So especially for those who are looking to be entrepreneurs, I think that YouTube is an amazing place to get started because it's a very low risk investment with such a high potential of reward. Like even compare it to, let's say you got your own TV series. Like, okay, that's really cool that you're on TV, but you're under a network, and then they could one day just be like, you guys aren't getting enough viewers, so we're gonna cancel your show. Well, on YouTube, that's never gonna happen. You could get 0 views for 10 years, and nobody's gonna cancel you. You are still free to keep making content. You can always start a new channel if one doesn't work out. And even if you feel like you've ruined your reputation with thousands of people with one channel, there's over 1 billion people on YouTube. There's always going to be a crowd out there of people who haven't found you yet. Some people might say that it's too late to get into YouTube, but people have been saying that for years. But there's still YouTubers every year who come out of nowhere and just go straight to the top. So if it's something you're really interested, go for it, even if you're just in it for the money. I know some people say you shouldn't get into YouTube if you're just in it for the money, but let's be honest, there's a lot of money to be made on YouTube. I mean, even as just a very small channel, in 2019, I was able to make a full-time living just off of my channel with just over 10,000 subscribers. And there are channels that do 1,000 times better than mine. So don't always assume that you have to be one of these, 10 million subscriber channels to be making a living. But anyways, I've recently just finished off my story channel, so I'm probably going to be starting a new channel sometime in 2020 as well. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments. I mean, obviously I'm not some super successful YouTuber, but I've started a lot of different types of channels, and I've talked with a lot of big YouTubers as well. And I've also spent an unhealthy amount of time just watching YouTube, so I have a pretty good understanding of how the site works. But anyways, thanks to everybody for watching, and good luck.